So here we are back for the second video here with this cup. Well, right now it's a cup. Maybe we'll see it turn into a mug just to kind of touch on both with this one object. So again, now it's more closer to what we call the leather hard stage. As I press on it, it doesn't flex nearly as much as it did before when it was in the wet clay stage. So this can be a really nice time to do different things that might help make this be more unique, might showcase something you're more interested in, design-wise, make it a little bit more personal. You know, again, kind of thinking about some of those different variety of things we see from some of those galleries, you know, if you need to struck up ideas. So a couple quick things, you know, as I was smoothing it out while it was wet, you know, there we go. There's still some cracks and things. Right now is a really good time to do that because a lot of these were forming as I was pressing on different areas. When the clay is really wet, all it really does is smooth the one spot you're working on, not the entire thing. So since this is structurally more sound, it's going to be able to hold its shape and not want to crack as much. And again, it would crack if I pushed on it really hard, it would break. So we want to be careful of that. I didn't get this before, but I need to make sure that I smooth the bottom out as well. You know, the bottom, or what we call the foot, really important to have it nice and smooth and clean. And I'm going to show some other ways that we can deal with a foot. This is just a flat one. But you know, this is going to sit on a table or sit on a shelf. And we don't want to scratch that surface by having a rough foot. So it's really important to smooth that out. And again, some of this little boogery type stuff will clean up as I go because it kind of can just keep happening. So right now, if you can tell that my rim is not perfectly level, there's still some cracks to it. So we got a couple ways that we can fix that. One, I could just kind of start rubbing this with a sponge to smooth out some of those areas. Sometimes that's effective, sometimes it's not. If you use a sponge, even a wet sponge too much, it can start rubbing away the really fine particles of clay, and it'll leave the clay really sandy and gritty on the surface. And so that's bad, especially on the rim of something. So you can try and use, you know, we talked about X-Acto knives, or there is, that's not it, or there's the fettling knife that comes with the toolkit. You can use one of those. I don't think it's the most effective tool. So I had mentioned, I think, yeah, the Stanley Surform, which is basically just, you know, they come with a handle. I have a ceramics version that has a handle like this. I don't have one handy of the other one. But essentially it's a woodworking tool, and it works kind of like a cheese grater. But it works really great for clay in the leather hard stage. If you use it with the wet clay, it's just going to clog up really bad. And if you use it when it's drier, it's just going to make a lot of dust. And so I'm just going to just very gently kind of drag this over the surface. And I can do this on a flat surface so I can see it better. Yeah, to where I can get a more even surface. If I wanted to as well, I could use this as a way to, you know, exaggerate some undulation, some curvature, some unevenness into the rim. But for the moment, I'm just going to go make this even, or more even. It's not going to be perfectly even. Like, that's pretty good. Move that. So now we're a little bit more even, but see how it's kind of got, you know, it made this kind of flat, sharp edge. We don't want that. So I'm just going to just lightly, again, just with a very damp sponge, just smooth that out. Okay, and so that kind of gives it a nice little round edge that's a little bit easier to drink out of. You know, if I want, while I'm doing this, I can pinch with my fingers, with my finger and my thumb like that, And this can actually help to thin it out a little bit. If you can see that. And just like that. So now I have a much cleaner rim. And again, I have little imperfections into the surface. I'm not too overly concerned about that. But if you are, again, you can make this as smooth as you want. And that's okay. So, right now, like I said, I put a flat foot on this. I want to be careful with this rim while it's wet. So I'm going to give this just a second to dry before I deal with more of the bottom of this. So we'll give it a second.